Welcome back to the Sports News Analysis YouTube channel. My name is Mike. I'm continuing my 2014 NFL Draft Team Needs Analysis, and this video is for the Washington Redskins, who obviously are coming off of a very disappointing 2013 season. All right, a lot of needs for this team heading into the NFL Draft and the NFL offseason as a whole. And I think you can start on the defensive side of the ball. It's pretty safe to say because this is a defense that last year was historically bad, and I think very bad in two distinct areas. First of all, on the defensive line. I mean, you take a look at that defensive line and you let me know any guys that you absolutely say, I got to have that guy back next year. I don't see one of those guys on that defensive line. You want to give me Barry Cofield? Okay. All right, maybe I'll buy that. But other than that, I don't see any guys on that defensive line that scream to me they have to be back next year. I think you can upgrade that entire unit there on the defensive line. The linebacking core, look, I think that they're good enough to get by with next year. You can't, revamp everything. Maybe they get a guy. They obviously have to get someone to replace London Fletcher, who did not have a good year last year, but was an important part from a leadership perspective on that defense. Maybe they get more of a veteran to fill that role. Then I go to the safety spot with Brandon Merriweather, E.J. Biggers, Reed Doty. Those safeties to me, again, which one of those guys jump out at you and say, man, I got to sign Reed Doty as a free agent, or I got to sign E.J. Biggers as a free agent, or I even want Brandon Merriweather around my team. You know what I mean? Like, these are guys that at the whole safety crew, I think they can move on from them as well. And then at the cornerback spot, they have to make decisions on D'Angelo Hall and Josh Wilson if they're going to bring them back. To me, if I'm the Redskins, the two defensive free agents I bring back are D'Angelo Hall at a reasonable contract and Brian Arakpo. Other than that, I'm not even that upset if I lose any of my other free agents, to other teams because they were that bad last year. I think this defense needs a complete overhaul. I kind of compare it to what the Eagles did last year, to what the Saints did last year. Defenses that had a complete overhaul and got a lot better this year as compared to how they were in 2012. It's just being about having the gall to be able to say, okay, we're going to completely revamp this defense. And hopefully this new regime led by Jake Gruden and, Bruce Allen, obviously, as GM, make that decision to really go all in and try to make this defense better rather than to patchwork things up. And I think in the draft and free agency, but in the draft, since this is a draft video, they can definitely make inroads there at the positions that I mentioned. And other than that, people I've been hearing a lot of places that people think the Redskins should really upgrade the interior of their offensive line. First of all, if you look at the numbers, their offensive line was pretty good. They still ran the ball very productively, and they had a lot of continuity in that offensive line. If you check the snaps played, there was under 30 snaps total played by non-starting Washington Redskin offensive linemen. They had, all of their offensive linemen, their starting offensive linemen, played over 1,100 snaps. I think that continuity is important, and since they need so many upgrades at so many other positions, I'd rather all these guys from last year are all under contract for this year. I wouldn't mess with that, and I'd keep that line together. The continuity, the fact they have been able to run the ball very successfully the last two seasons. Keep that line the way it is. I think you have good enough receivers. I just think they need so much work on the defensive side of the ball. Again, I compare them a lot to the Eagles, that a lot of their focus should be there, in my opinion, this offseason and most notably in the draft. Guys, let me know what you think. Hit me up in the comments. Hit me up on Twitter as well. Be sure to subscribe to my channel. I did a video like this for all 32 NFL teams. I'm covering the offseason wall to wall. So be sure to subscribe to my channel here, guys. NFL football 365 days a year. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for listening. Have a great night.